Hey guys, it's Ashley here. So, did you miss out on the Patriotic Shades? Yeah, me too. So, let's get creative. So, what I'm going to show you today is a DIY how to create your own patriotic manicure because this year's been crazy. COVID's messed everything up. So it's also messed up our factories where we can't produce as much, and it's just insane right now. So I'm going to show you how to do some DIY patriotic manicures. So what I did is I went to Hobby Lobby, and you can find this on Amazon too. Hobby Lobby just happened to have been the same day, so that's why I went and got them. So what I have here is a mini star punch. And then I have these, which are like micro, because they're even smaller, but it's the handle punches. So I have craft tool punch shape a star. And the last one I have, now this one was a lot more expensive. These are like, this is $4.99 or $3.99. This is $2.99, and this one is $17. But I thought this was kind of cool to use in the future. So I also have, it's this little shape here. It's like a stripe, basically. It's a pretty thick stripe though. So I also have some leftover nail strips here. I've got a few twosies or accent nails as well, somewhere on my desk. And then I've got some full strips too. So we're gonna play around today and make some DIY manicures. So one of the other things I'm gonna mess with is between the lines. I'm gonna use it kind of sideways, like how I'm holding it, to make kind of a flag looking thing. So let's get creative and see what we can do. Oh, I also have a 5/8 inch circle punch that I'm gonna use as well. I think that's everything I got. By the way, in case you don't read, like I don't read, and I found this interesting, on the back it says caring for your craft punch, which I'm gonna have to do this with a few of mine because they're lost their edge. So to sharpen, punch through aluminum foil several times, and to maintain cutting ease, punch through wax paper. So I guess the wax paper kind of lubricates it and the foil sharpens it. So pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna finish opening these. Okay, so I kind of did a little mock punch of all the different sizes that I have. So I have my really little star punch, my bigger star punch, my line, and then my circle. So I have an idea of what I'm going to do for the first little design here using these. So another thing I like to have is I like having these full contact sticky notes, and also just having a regular sticky note too. I use this to kind of hold on to the design. And obviously my nail file and a pair of scissors if needed. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a blue background. I have some leftover of this kind of pearlescent white. You could use Swiss and Tell as well, but I've got these, so why not use them? And then I'm going to use red, and then my between the lines. So that's what I'm gonna kind of go with on this one. So first things first, I'm gonna take out my blue nail strip here. I'm using a twosie, but definitely use whatever you got if you got a full set. I don't think I'm gonna go the full contact. I think I'm gonna use the regular sticky note on this one. So I'm gonna take my, let's see, I'm gonna do this on my pointer finger. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take that plastic off, and I know this is gonna be the base of my nail. And it goes out to about here. So let's see. About here. So I'm going to kind of make a mark there just so I kind of know. Or I could go ahead and cut it too. So it's actually a really good idea to go ahead and cut it if you're going to use two. So if you're going to use get two nails out of it, go ahead and cut it in half. I'm not going to worry about doing two since I'm just showing you guys. But I am going to cut it just so I know where the edge of the strip is going to be. So kind of like right, oops, sorry. Kind of like right here. I'm going to go ahead and cut it because you really want to know where the end of it is. So if you're doing two, you could go ahead and layer them. Why not just do two? Okay, so you could go ahead and layer them next to each other like that. I really like doing so that I can create them both at the same time. It also helps them to be kind of a little bit more even. Obviously, I told you I'm not going to use this one, but I'll show you anyway. All right, so what I'm thinking about doing is doing like a cute little star, and then doing the red strip here with the between the lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my red nail strip out. I'm gonna use the same size one. Take that plastic off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do kind of an arch. So I'm gonna wanna take this out with my circle punch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna thread my circle punch like so. And I'm gonna get a little arch out of it. So a little like moon shape. All right, like that. Because what I wanna do, actually I'm gonna bring it out even more because I want it to be kind of like that. So I might need to take a little bit off because of the shape of this one. Let's go straight in. Get on the fatter part of the nail strip. Okay, yeah, because I wanted a little bit more blue so I can make sure that I get that white star. Okay, so then it is a little hard when you don't have that tab to get this off. I usually just kind of either run the pad of my finger over or try to get my nail between it. So both ways seem to work well different times. All right, I got that up pretty easy. So I could have went ahead and cut this too. So I could have went ahead and cut this in half, and let's just go ahead and do it. I don't know why I'm talking about it. Okay, so I'm gonna feed that through here. If it's too short to feed in, pop it on a sticky note and then feed it through like that because you'll have a little bit more space to use it. Okay. So let's go ahead and make sure I got enough space. Go ahead and cut it in half. Okay. Now I'm gonna work it again to try to get that off. There we go. That wasn't too hard. I think the so the blue is Greeking out. This red I want to say is Baton Rouge. Yep, Baton Rouge. Which is kind of a more clear. This might actually work better with something like London Calling that's a little bit more, you see how that blue kind of sticks through on the red? So this would probably actually work better on a heavier red like a London Calling or a Venetian Velvet or something, because Baton Rouge is a little bit sheer. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm showing you for example purposes, but definitely a better red would be. Let me see what I've got. So I do have some Bloody Gorgeous. We'll try that real quick. It's gonna be a sparkly red. Now what I could have done is if you want to layer this straight onto your finger rather than using it on here, I could have just used my circle punch to cut do the Baton Rouge red strip down first, and then cut out a moon shape of the blue and put the blue on there. So that's another option as well. Okay, that is not perfect at all. We're not gonna go for perfection. But anyway, I've got my little moon shape. You can see I put it on there a little bit crooked. My bad, but it's okay. All right, so now I'm gonna take this white strip next. So I'm gonna use like a really, really tiny one because they're not gonna fit on my fingers as much. This is a great way to use up those little pinky nail ones that you might not use, or really just any nail strip that you don't use frequent that much. Okay, so I went ahead and took the plastic off, and now I'm gonna get my little star punch. I'm gonna go ahead and get me a little white star. Okay, so I use my thumbnail, just kind of get it peeled up, and a pair of tweezers or something might be good. I'm just gonna kind of get it and position it on there. Call it a day. All right, so that's that. Last thing here is I'm gonna get my between the lines. Cut this one open. My between the lines. And I'm gonna get one that's just thick enough to cover that whole thing, which that's not gonna do it. Let's see what we've got here. Don't think that, so we're gonna use a big thumbnail is what I'm using here. And I could probably, it looks like I could get 2 out of this. All right, I'm gonna put these back in their packaging so they don't dry out because I'm gonna wanna use them again. When you're doing stuff like this, it is best to go ahead and if you're working on something for a long time, go ahead and reseal this back up. So when you're cutting the reseal off, cut as close as you can. Go ahead and reseal these back up so that they don't dry out while you're doing other stuff. which is why a lot of times I'll save a package. Like if I use a whole package, I'll just keep the extra and just kind of keep it because I'm going to want to throw these back in there to reseal them. Next is between the lines, and I only need half of it probably. So let's go ahead and grab half of it. Maybe use it again. Okay, this is where I am going to want to put it on a sticky note. So I'm going to kind of see where I'm going to want it, yeah, all the way up to get my circle. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to match the circle here. I know this looks kind of complicated, but like if you've got time and you want to do something creative, this is a great way to go about it. Okay. Make sure my circle is covering the whole strip. And get that moon and punch. Okay. See if that kind of, yep, that lines up. So great. So I'm going to take my between the lines, peel it off. Okay. And this is kind of a good time to pick it up because you're going to want to align it as best you can with that other arch, that other circle. Okay. Like that. Perfect. Now we have a layered strip that's ready to go on my fingernail. And I've sealed up the other one. So this might be something maybe you don't want to do for your whole manicure unless you're really patient and you want to. But you could easily do this as an accent nail and do the rest of your nails a different color. So by keeping that white backing on this blue strip, it kept it nice and moist. Ooh, I don't like that word. But you know, it kept it nice and wet so that it didn't dry out while we were doing the rest of the manicure. So I'm going to go ahead and press that on there. Be real careful because you don't want to like peel your star up or anything. We're going to smooth it down really, really nice. Now you've got a lot of layers on this, so you got to make sure to be extra careful about making sure it is pressed all the way down to the nail. So really take your time smoothing it back down and pressing it against. This is one of the times that I recommend you go ahead and clean up as best as you can because it's going to stick better if you have it all cleaned up, which I told you, I of course don't know what I did with my wooden cuticle stick. So we're going to do our best with this. And the last thing I recommend after doing this is to add a clear as day over it. So what the clear as day is going to do is it's going to help secure the star. It's going to help secure all these other layers on here and just kind of smooth everything out. Okay, so we're going to smooth this out best we can here. The blue was really nice and matched to my finger, which I think is a big plus. And since I don't have a wooden, I'm just going to use this and then use my thumbnail to get the rest off. It is a thicker strip, so having a tool on this one is a lot better because my thumbnail is not quite sharp enough really to get through that very, very well. Okay, so I've got it clear and flush. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to rub that down really good with either my finger or a cuticle stick. And I'm going to try to tuck that under best I can. Okay? Tuck these ends under best I can, and I'm pressing really hard against the tip of my nail because that's ensuring that it is pushed all the way down to the end of your nail here. Thicker layers are definitely harder to get to seal up, which is why you want to be extra careful. Okay, let's do this last one here. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and file it. So I would prefer, for this particular thing, I'd prefer kind of a more gritty nail file on something this thick. And then you're going to go back later after it's cured and you're going to take your glass file and you're going to finish filing with the glass file to make a smooth edge. Alright, so there is the finished product on this one. A cute little star and stripe nail. It looked really great with any of these other colors. If you did white across it, blue across it, red across it, really, really cute. All right, so that turned out pretty great. And next, I'm gonna do a solid blue with white stars, and I'm going to do a red with white stripes. Okay, prep my nails really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and layer my nail strips. Okay, so now I have my manicure on here, and I'm going to do white stars on here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my white, and I'm going to go ahead and make a couple stars out of it. Okay, so I've got my stars, and honestly, this is going to be one of the toughest parts of this for you, is getting it off the backing. This one, fortunately, the white backing kind of had a little overlift, so I can kind of just peel it off like that. Perfect. Then I'm going to kind of attach one of the little stars to a wooden cuticle stick or anything that you really have, and we're going to kind of do some stars. So I've kind of got a reference picture over here, and I'm just going to kind of drape them where I want them to go. Now I went ahead and cleaned up this manicure first with the blue and got all the edges off, because it's a lot easier and it's a lot sharper if you're just going through one layer. And since these stars are really delicate, I'm going to want that. So I'm going to go ahead and smooth out the star really good. Okay, so this is a time where you might decide that it's pretty secure on there and you can go ahead and clean it up. Or you might feel it pull a little and you could just let it cure. And when it's done curing, then you can clean it up. I'm going to attempt to go ahead and clean it up. I feel like it's on there pretty good. Usually when you do a solid over a solid, they tend to stick really well. So I'm going to give it a shot. If it starts moving at all, I'm going to wait, let it cure for a little bit, and then clean it up. So it seems like it's detaching just fine. I'm just being really gentle, pushing down on it. And I'm going to make sure that it's completely detached before I pull it. If I pull it too soon, it's going to pull that whole star off. So I can move the fleshy part of my finger and see that it's hard to see there, but it is actually fully detached. I can see where it's pulling away. So I'm going to go ahead and just scrape that little bit off. Like that. It's really not that hard to do. So I'm going to go ahead and peel off the rest. The worst is going to be getting that white backing off of it. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest and go ahead and layer it on my fingernails. Okay, so I've got a corner of the star peeled up. And what you can do is you can just put your little wooden thing on and press. And kind of use that to help you get the rest of it off. Okay. So for this last little star, I'm actually just going to go ahead and fold it over on the edge right here, and I'm going to use my little cuticle stick and just kind of smooth it down, and I will file that later. Now last thing you're going to want to do is cover the whole thing with clear as day, again, to kind of keep all that sealed up nice. Now again, this is a little more tedious and it does take more time. Obviously, you don't have to do all these designs on one hand. You could just pick one and then do the rest solids or glitter. But again, because we're taking more time, make sure that any strip you're not actively using, you're resealing. So put it back in the packaging, take whatever it is you use, like this little food saver clip or hair straightener, and seal it back up between doing this, okay? I'm gonna do my other finger. Also, even if you don't get a perfect cut, like you can see this star here has a little star cut off of it, just use that for one of the side pieces. On that note, another thing the Clear as Day is going to do for you is if your stars have dried out a little bit, if they're sticking and then you put that Clear as Day over it, it's going to guarantee that they're going to stay and not try to peel off. Alright, that second time went a lot faster, and I think it's just practice. I did use the tip of this to kind of peel the strips off the back of the white backing, and it worked a lot better. So that's the stars. It really was a lot easier than even I was expecting. So let's try out this bigger punch with the stripe. Now, this might be a little bit too big. We're going to see. If not, you could honestly just take scissors and cut straight strips. Okay, so I'm going to try this out before I really go too much further and see if I like this size here. Okay, you see how easy that was to peel that up using this? That is good to know. I've never used it before, and that's so much easier. Okay, let's see. Actually, that's pretty spot on, in my opinion, for little white stripes. Might want to do, maybe not do the rounded part. So you could actually probably do this kind of, instead of doing the whole thing, do it kind of on the edge right here. I'm going to cut it straight. We're going to put this in here where it doesn't quite go to that straight edge, like so. Okay, I didn't quite get it right. So I'm just going to cut off the very, very tip to make kind of more of a straight edge. There. Okay. Worked out well. This also is something you could do with the sticky note method that I did before, where you lay the strip down rather than working on your finger like this. Okay, I was thinking I was going to get 3 white stripes, but I think I'm going to get 3 red and 2 white. Which is fine. You could also obviously do it the opposite way. And let's see. Okay, I'm kind of stretching it and moving it around to try to make sure I get this a nice straight line. Okay, so we could have done a little bit better, but not the worst. Not bad at all. I'm going to kind of take this and kind of make that a little bit straighter. I mean, worst case scenario, I could drop a little circle of blue over here and it probably will look a little better. Okay, so I definitely agree that could have been better. However, I think it probably would have been a little easier to have done this one on the paper, but I got it pretty straight. Definitely does not look bad. I do think I'm going to take a blue and make a little blue halo like I did on the star ones. I'm just going to make it a little smaller of a halo. Okay, so I'm putting this in my circle punch, and it's just going to be backwards of what we did before. Alright, so I've got a halo here. Again, I'm going to use my cuticle stick to kind of position it on there, because I'm going to want to peel this off, like so. Get that little nerdy piece off. Okay. So that's a good thing to have clean hands, because see how much I'm touching it? Alright, I'm just going to put this little arc on it like so. And then gently lay it down. Okay, that looks a lot better. And if you want a little more saturation in the blue, you could do 2 layers of blue. To me, I actually didn't use the right size. I should have used this bigger size. But you can get a lot more saturation if you do a double layer of blue. So I'm going to do that. Okay, there's my blue. You could easily add a star to it. And again, to make the white stripes, you don't have to buy this really expensive punch. You could easily just cut them. You could also do stripes this way too. I feel like with this shape, because of the rounded edges, it probably would actually make a better stripe this way. So, but there you go. There's a couple different ideas for you for Patriotic Nails. I am not displeased with it at all. But you know, you don't have to do all of these manis in one. You could also take the bigger star punch and just do red or blue and just do that big star punch on top of it. So many different options for you. Just kind of play around with your strips. Having this is really nice. You can get this at a lot of grocery stores or beauty stores. Just go look like where the nail clippers are, and they'll usually have like a big package of these. They might be longer, but they are really handy to use. I'm sure you could use other tools throughout your house too that you could probably find. You could probably use a pencil, honestly. So there we go. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you learned something. There's kind of what it looks like. I didn't do anything on my thumb. I could easily probably just do blue and stars, or just do white, or whatever the heck you want, honestly. So there it is. Hope you learned something. If you have any ideas you want me to try out, drop them down below. You can send me a picture through Facebook Messenger, anything like that. There's a sample request form if you've never tried Color Street and you'd like to try it. Fill out that form and I'll mail one off to you in the next day or two. And my VIP group is below too. So if you don't have a stylist, go ahead and join my VIP group. I do a lot of different sales and goodies, giveaways, and more videos like this. So y'all have a wonderful day, and thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button.